Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our virtual gathering here. I am Dr. Dustin Barr. I'm the Director of Wind Studies at Cal State Fullerton, and I'm very pleased that you've decided to join us today. We hope that all of you are doing well while we are all sheltering at home. This event would normally be held in campus as part of our Welcome to Cal State Fullerton day, but we've decided to shift that to this virtual environment in lieu of our current circumstances. So this is the instrumental portion of this event. If you happen to be a vocalist, we have an event coming up a little bit later in that area. The event specifically for the next hour is for our instrumental students. It's a chance for some of you to meet our faculty and some current students, to hear a little bit about our program, our ensemble offerings, and to ask any questions that you'd like. In fact, the bulk of the conversation will be an open Q&A that we have towards the end of the event. So to kick things off, I'd like to go ahead and get started by just asking our panelists here today to introduce themselves. So once again, I am Dr. Dustin Barr. I'm the Director of Bands, the Director of Wind Studies here at Cal State Fullerton. And I will now turn it to our colleagues and a few of our students, our current students who are here as well.
Well, I'm Dr. Katherine Powers, and I'm the Director of the School of Music here at Cal State Fullerton.
I'm Dr. Baker, Dr. Nicole Baker. You've all gotten lots of emails from me, and now you're going to find out that I'm a real person. And I'm the undergraduate admissions coordinator. I'm the person you go to for all those little questions.
Hi, I'm Kimo Furumoto. I'm the orchestra director here, and welcome to you as well.
Hi, I'm Dr. Cello. I'm a violin professor. I'm also the artist diploma advisor and also the string coordinator.
Hi, I'm Bongshin, professor of cello and assistant director of School of Music. Welcome, everyone.
And I'm going to jump in right here. We have a brand new faculty member who will be joining us in the fall. And this is really our first time we are introducing him to our students. So please, everybody, welcome Professor Mathai. And Professor Mathai, it looks like you're muted right now. So if we can, there we are.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sycil Mathai, and I'm delighted to join Cal State Fullerton's School of Music this coming fall. I'm looking forward to meeting you all. And I'm also wondering how Dustin's hair looks so good amid the COVID virus. Where are you getting your haircut? I had to shave my hair off.
I was fortunate to get one right before it all went down.
Oh, good. Perfect timing.
Give me a few more weeks and it'll... So we also have a few current students here as well, and I'm going to turn it over to them just to introduce themselves. You'll hear from them a little bit later.
Hi, I'm Anthony. I am a flute performance major at Cal State Fullerton, and I'm also the undergraduate student recruitment assistant for the School of Music, so you'll get a few emails from me as well.
Hi everybody, my name is Simon. I was a transfer student from RCC. I came to Fullerton, I think it was fall of 18. I've been here for about 2 years. But if you have any questions specifically about transferring from a junior college or from elsewhere, I'd be happy to answer those.
Terrific. And finally, we have two of our excellent staff members who really help to keep the School of Music running. We have Michael August and Jason Pano. I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves briefly, but also to, if they need to add anything to our viewers today about how this seminar will work on Zoom, please go ahead and take the time to do that now.
Hi, I'm Mike August, production manager for the School of Music. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, type your questions in the Q&A section. We'll probably post some links in the chat. And if you're on Facebook, put your questions in the Facebook Live stream questions, and Jason will forward them on to the panelists.
Hi, my name is Jason Pano. I'm the social media strategist for the College of the Arts, and I'll kind of be looking over Facebook. So let us know if you have any questions. I'll get those to the panel.
Okay. Well, we do have a little bit of an agenda here that we'd like to get through first and foremost, but as I said, the bulk of this this hour will be devoted to a Q&A session where you can have all of your questions answered here by our panel. But the first thing we'd like to talk about is something that would be kind of paramount in your studies at Cal State Fullerton, and that is our ensemble offerings. Now, we have a number of ensembles here at Cal State Fullerton, everything you could hope for, from our 3 wind bands to our orchestra, to our jazz ensembles, to chamber ensembles of every variety, a new music ensemble. There are plenty of opportunities to perform. A question I got recently from a prospective student was whether you can perform in more than one ensemble. And yes, definitely. Almost all of our music majors are involved in multiple ensembles. I'd like to take a few moments just to talk about the wind band program, and then I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Professor Furumoto, to talk about the orchestra. But the wind bands here at Cal State Fullerton, we have 3 ensembles. We have the Wind Symphony, the Symphonic Winds, and the University Band. The Wind Symphony and the Symphonic Winds tend to be our music major ensembles, and the University Band is a group that does have some music majors in there, often music ed studying on secondary instruments, but it specifically caters more toward non-majors. So if you have friends who are coming who are non-majors, have them contact me, and we have places for them to play. We do have a limited time here. I could go on and on about the accolades that the band program has achieved over the years, but I think the most significant thing I could tell you recently was that the Wind Symphony, our top ensemble, was selected to perform at the National Conference of the College Band Directors National Association last academic year, in 2019. This is probably the most prestigious event that an ensemble of its kind could be invited to. And we were, I can say that in the last decade, only 2 schools from California have been invited, and that would be USC and Cal State Fullerton. So it is a huge feather in our cap. It was a wonderful opportunity for us, and it really helped to put us more on the national scene. We were one of only 8 ensembles from the entire country and Canada invited to perform, and that was through a juried process that was evaluated by other collegiate conductors nationwide. So in that year, we were selected as one of the 8 top ensembles in the country. I could speak more and more about our programs, but I think the best thing I could do is to play a clip for you from a recent recording. And in doing a few of these sessions virtually, we've actually discovered it works best if we actually just provide you a link and ask that you take a moment to go and watch this video. So the video I have for you is from our last concert, which was on March 7th. So you're hearing the very latest of what the Wind Symphony has to offer. It is an unedited video. It has been edited to just provide certain excerpts from particular movements. But other than that, it's live, okay? It's no editing beyond that. And this is a portion of William Bolcom's, Pulitzer Prize winning William Bolcom's First Symphony for Band. So, Jason Pano, have you have the link there in the chat,
yeah,
correct?
It's up.
Okay, so if you will all take a moment, the sound quality, the video quality will all be better if you watch it independently and open up a browser to do that than if we stream it through this platform here. So we're gonna go quiet for a moment and ask that all of you view that video. Should take about 5 minutes total.
If you guys have questions, feel free to answer. We'll get those to the panel.
Okay. I'm going to hope that most of you had an opportunity to view that. Maybe you're in the final few seconds or so. But again, I think the best representation we could do to tell you about our band program is to show you the quality of its most recent performance. So now I'd like to invite my colleague, Professor Furumoto, to speak a little bit about the orchestra and the string area.
Well, welcome to everybody on this wonderful day, and welcome to my virtual living room here with a nice fireplace. I just wanted to spotlight a few things of our offerings as the Symphony Orchestra. It is a full symphony orchestra, so we invite everybody, whether they're obviously a string player, woodwind, brass, percussion, we have all those represented. and we have auditions every fall for those. So I welcome everybody to audition for the orchestra. I wanted to spotlight a few things that we do. Every year we have a concert that's sponsored by the Cerritos Performing Arts Center, and it's conducted by Rob Capello. Very interesting. It's a very interactive one with the audience. You learn a lot about how to present classical music to our audiences, which is very important now. A couple other things we do. We have a concerto competition that's open to all of our students, and usually the grand prize winner of all 4 categories is presented with the orchestra. I actually have a clip of our recent concert of that for a little bit later. And then finally, I wanted to mention the many opportunities for master classes and guest artists. Every year we host the internationally renowned string quartet, Untitled Quartet, here on campus for an entire week. They give master classes and their own concert, as well as an interactive collaborative concert with all of our string students every year. It's a fantastic concert, and the students really enjoy it. And I know we have several students here. They're all in orchestra too, whether they're brass players, wind players, and we have a cellist here too. So they can talk to you a little bit about that a little bit later. But I do have one clip from the Talich Quartet Symphony Orchestra concert, and it's only about 1.5 minutes, and it's also in the chat. It's the first link under there. It's the Vivaldi Concerto for Orchestra, just about 1.5 minutes. So you can take a look at that and upload that and view that for about a minute or so. So hopefully you had a chance to enjoy that, and hope you can join us with those concerts soon. Thank you, and I'll pass it on to my colleagues.
Terrific. Well, in our agenda here today, we've invited a few of our current students to speak with you about what it is like to be a student here at Cal State Fullerton. So I'd like to turn it over to them. They'll introduce themselves briefly once again, and then maybe just spend about 1 minute each talking about your experiences here as a current music student. If we can start with Anthony.
Again, I'm Anthony. I am a flute performance major here at Cal State Fullerton, and I'm also the undergraduate student recruitment assistant. What I like most about being a music major here at Cal State Fullerton is that we get the rigor and the caliber of a conservatory, but also we get the communal aspect and the general education aspect of being in a liberal arts university. And so we have our lessons, we have our chamber, we have all our music classes, including theory, music history, composition, all those stuff. And on top of that, we also have a bunch of general education courses that we have to complete. So not only does it prepare us to be musicians, it prepares us, our school prepares us to be composers if we want to move on to that point. Musicologists if you want to move on to musicology. And it also gives you an opportunity to venture in different realms, such as like psychology, philosophy, because for some people, music won't be a continuing career. So it's important to experience music school, but also get a university education in that sense. So,
thank you, Anthony. If we'll go ahead and now turn it over to Benjamin.
Okay. Hi, my name is Benjamin Herr, and I'm currently a freshman at CSUF majoring in cello performance. So my experience in the music department was truly amazing and very educational. Coming in as a freshman and being put into the symphony orchestra was definitely a lot to take in, but in a good way, because that ensemble offers so much experience that really helped shape me into a better musician. And we play a very demanding repertoire, and it's played at the professional level. And for me, it was definitely tough, but it was so beneficial for me to have that opportunity, because it really prepares me for the career that I'm aiming for, and it puts me in that professional environment. And of course, my improvement definitely comes a lot from the faculty as well. Having lessons with my professor is probably the bulk of my improvement, because they provide such, the best teachings on improving technique and how to make your sound more mature. And I love how the professor just make you feel comfortable yet maintain that serious setting. And I think it's that balance of having a professional and sociable relationship with the professors that truly make them one of the best faculty. And my experience here at CSUF has been great, and every day I just look forward to becoming a better musician. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ben. And finally, we have Simon Morris. And Simon, for those of you attending our session today, Simon entered as a transfer student, so he may have a unique point of view to share with you today regarding that. Simon.
Hi, everybody. So I am a transfer student. I came from RCC. I'm a horn player, member of both the Wind Symphony and the orchestra here at Fullerton, as well as the brass ensemble and the horn ensemble, and some other chamber groups. Very involved. I think that's the best thing you can do as a new student here, is just involve yourself in as many places as you can. As a transfer student and as somebody who's still also a commuter from Riverside, I was able to get plugged in. The community that we have at Cal State Fullerton is really welcoming. Even just spending a few minutes in the lounge on the second floor, you'll get to talk to somebody who you maybe haven't met before. And it's really easy to make friends and to get plugged into the communities. I know that there's a few fraternities and sororities on campus, music fraternities and sororities that are really active and really great to join if that's something that interests you. But if not, there's even we have a Musicology Club, which is a great resource for those looking for help in that realm. Or there's also NAFME for those of you looking to be music educators. So I think just as a transfer student, the thing that I would suggest is just get plugged in whatever way you can. And it's not difficult. It's really a welcoming environment.
All right, thank you, Anthony, Ben, and Simon. We appreciate you being here, and they are going to continue to be with us throughout this session because some of the questions that you have may be better answered by some of our current students. So thank you once again, the three of you, for staying on. So at this point, we would like to see some of your questions pop up. So please feel free in the Q&A box there to ask away. And if you're joining us on Facebook Live, you can ask there as well, and those will be forwarded to us. So we'd love to entertain your questions. And in the meantime, while some of those questions come in, if any of my colleagues would like to speak, let's go ahead and open the panel
up. Many of you were in the last at the 10 o'clock sort of nuts and bolts hour, but just in case you weren't, I do want to, as the one who sort of chases you around with all the technical details, getting into Cal State Fullerton is a two-part process, and making the transition to Cal State Fullerton is a two-part process. You had to get into the university and you had to get into the School of Music, but now you have to say yes to both. So by May 1st, which is the big day, you have to do the following. You have to tell us that you're going by emailing the area coordinator they sent you the email that said you're in. And you also have to let the university know, and that's a key thing, because three things have to happen when you tell the university that you're coming. You sign on for your orientation, and all students must do an orientation. This year they're online, thanks to COVID. But by May 1st, you have to sign on for your orientation. By May 1st, you pay your enrollment deposit, and you of course have to say, yes, I'm coming. So, and then by July 15th, your high school or your community college has to get your final transcripts in, and that's pretty key. So that's the third step. So let's see I'm seeing some questions coming in. Nope. Already got that. Simon did hit upon something that I think is one of the best things about Cal State Fullerton, which is the supportive environment. I saw that the moment I walked onto campus back in 1997, before most of you were born. I always say the walls have smiles. And as I've said many times, the faces change, the names change, but the attitude never changes. And I think it's the faculty as well, because the faculty, we get along, and we really all are interested in your progress, and we're very focused on you. So I think in many respects that's one of the, I mean, you're getting a world-class education, the rigor. There's a reason that 100% of our students that go through the credential program all get jobs. Tell that to your parents; they'll like that. That 100% of our graduates in music education get placed, and because the employers, the school boards, all know that our students are well prepared. It's a rigorous program, but it's an extremely supportive program, and I'm proud to have been part of it for all these years.
So please keep the questions coming in. We've had a few come in so far. We're either answering them by typing, or some of them we will answer live as well. I'd like to actually take a moment to share a little bit about me and my journey as a professional musician, because I have the unique experience of being both a faculty member at Cal State Fullerton, but also an alum. And in fact, I did my bachelor's degree at Cal State Fullerton and my master's degree. And I was a first generation college student myself from a low economic background. And I can say that this institution changed my life. I would not be where I am today had it not been for the experiences, the education, and the professors that I encountered at Cal State Fullerton. It was a phenomenal place for me to study. It prepared me to go on to a career as a collegiate band director. It allowed me to go on and pursue a doctoral degree at the University of Michigan, where I felt extremely prepared upon my arrival at that institution. And in fact, I felt in some ways that I had been better prepared than some colleagues from other prestigious universities across the country. So I can point to my experiences at Cal State Fullerton as an undergraduate and a graduate student that really shaped my whole, my life really, since that time. It is a place that I care deeply about. What Dr. Baker mentioned about it being a very friendly and caring place is absolutely true. Some music conservatories and schools across the country can have a very competitive feel to them. And while you can't get around the fact that music school is somewhat competitive, I think we have an environment here that is still very warm and supportive along the way. So it looks like we have a few other questions coming in now. We'll take a moment to answer some of those. And it looks like Dr. Power, shall we turn it over to you?
Sure. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dustin. And thank you for your thoughts about the caring atmosphere at Cal State Fullerton School of Music. I completely agree. It's a fantastic place to study, to work. I feel like we have great colleagues. The students are cared for. And I was asking myself the other day, why is that so? Why is it so? And I will say that our faculty, we have 22 full-time faculty and 50 part-time faculty, because we have faculty in all instruments, right? So that they have so much energy and so much passion for their art form, for music, and for teaching. And regardless of where they come from or how long they've been teaching or what it is that they do, there is this passion and this devotion and dedication. I feel really fortunate that all of us get to work together within that atmosphere. The question here was, how accessible are the practice rooms? We have 40 practice rooms on the 3rd floor in our building. So there's 3 floors, and up on the 3rd floor are 40 practice rooms. They are accessible from very early in the morning, I think like 6:30 in the morning or something, until like 10 or later. I mean, there were students who practiced there in the wee hours of the morning. They just stay and practice. So the rooms are used throughout the day. There are a few moments in the day where they might be filled, kind of high points for practicing in the early afternoon or in the late morning in between classes. And then the students have developed a system where they wait a few minutes for a room to open up. But 40 rooms is quite a large number of rooms. We have 350 music majors. They clearly not everybody's practicing all the time, but they're coming and going in and out of classes. And many of them practice at home, or if they live in housing on campus or apartment near campus. So, yeah. I think Nicole's going to answer
Yes.
some questions.
All right. I hope my mic was open before. I realized I'm not sure it was open. Oops. Could you all hear me before when I talked about?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
That was a moment of panic. I'd have to say it all again. Simon already mentioned a little bit about this, but I'm happy to kind of go into it in a little bit more detail. The idea of clubs or organizations. And within the School of Music, there are 3 societies that are part of the School of Music: Sigma Alpha Iota for women, Phi Mu Alpha, which is the Symphonians, which is for men, and the Honor Society Mu Phi Epsilon, which is co-ed. There are several other organizations. We have an award-winning chapter of NAFME, the Music Educators group. We also have an award-winning American Choral Directors Association student chapter. We have a clarinet club, we have guitar club, we have all sorts of different targeted groups as well. So there's lots of places to get involved. A lot of people do join either Mu Phi Epsilon or Sigma Alpha Iota or Phi Mu Alpha, partly because they offer scholarships, they offer fellowship, and an opportunity to serve. There's another question. As a transfer, do I have concerns about ensuring credit transfer in music? How do theory and piano credits move? I might turn that over partly to Dr. Powers, but some of this involves a placement. If you're a freshman, you get placed into theory automatically, but as a transfer, you will take placement tests probably toward the end of the summer. Is that correct, Dr. Powers?
Yeah, we started doing last summer the placement tests during the middle of the summer related to the on-campus orientation. Obviously, because of COVID, thanks to COVID, now the orientations are being planned to be virtual. So we'll get back to you with timing of the placement exams. But first, let me back up and say about to answer the question about placement exams in theory and piano. So in piano, if piano is not your primary instrument, but you play some piano, then yes, there has to be a check to see what your skills are, because every music major is expected to learn some basic piano skills, and normally they would do it in a 3-semester sequence. So for all music majors who have no piano at all, then just start at semester 1 with the 3-semester sequence of piano. But if you do have a little piano and you're not a piano major, then there would be a simple placement test to fit you into the right semester. Now, if you're a piano major, we already know that you play piano well, so clearly that's a different topic. You don't have to play the placement test. Now for theory, so what we have learned over the years is that music theory is taught in multiple different ways, multiple different approaches to music theory all over the country. There is not one set pedagogy or methodology for how to teach music theory. So every school has the right to get their textbook and to teach it in the way they think is best. And likewise, Fullerton, and likewise all the community colleges. So the best we can do, what we have to do, is to check where your understanding is of music theory so we can ensure that you get into the right semester in the theory sequence. So that's why we have a placement test in theory. We have to, just like every school has to have some method of gauging where you are and what method you were first learning theory in. My advice to you is simply to study the theory you've already had, to look over your textbook, so when you walk in and take this simple test, you certainly place at the level that you really are. Now, we'll provide more information about that later, when the tests are, how they're going to be run, what's on the test, et cetera, et cetera. But the most important goal for everyone the faculty and you is that you fit into a semester where you feel comfortable and you continue to learn in theory. Yeah, anything else about that?
Dr. Powers, we've had a question about how placement might work if COVID would continue into the fall.
Yeah, so all up and down the state, our leadership in the Cal State system, our president on campus, as you know, the legislature, the governor, and the state organizations, health organizations are all talking about what if. What about this? What about that? And they're looking at projections of how to return to something more normal. So at this moment, we don't know what any Cal State campus will look like in terms of having everything face-to-face, in-person instruction, or exactly what kind of combination might occur. So until time goes by and everybody knows a little bit more about what fall looks like, it's hard to say. Now, with the testing, the placement testing, we will wait a little bit longer before we decide how to do that. Will we do it online, or will we, if campus is going to open up and everybody returns, then it makes more sense for us to do it in person, but closer to the start of campus. So I don't have a definite answer right now for that question, but we'll keep you informed. Thank you for the question.
I saw one that I wanted to answer too. This was about the practice rooms, and since I live up on the 3rd floor where most of the practice rooms are, my office is up there, I can answer this one. It was, do I get my own practice room? Actually, you get a key from Paul when things are normal, where you're able to go up to the 3rd floor and you use any room that's available. And it just depends on the time of the day when you're able to find something, or if you're able to find something. Many times I've let people use my studio if I see people out in the hall, and because I don't like to see that people are wasting time, and I've let people into that room to practice. So it is on kind of a first come, first serve basis. Most students get used to finding out what the times are when things are most crowded, and then they arrange their practice time around that. And I wanted to mention one other thing. I think one of the main things that I really like about our school is the practical application that we get of our art. I mean, Dustin, Dr. Barr mentioned all the accolades of the band. Professor Furumoto talked about the different things that happen with the orchestra. The choral program is the same way, the piano program. There's a lot of things going on for a school that's our size, and that's what makes it really special.
Okay, if I could jump in here, there was a question for me, and the question was, do I know when the audition repertoire for both wind ensembles will be available and updated? Yes, we typically try to post repertoire for ensemble placement auditions. That is the audition that determines what ensemble will be your major performing ensemble. We try to get those posted by mid-July. And typically those auditions take place very often the week before the semester begins. And sometimes in the past, we've done actually in-person ones. We've actually had experience doing these virtually as well, with people submitting virtual submissions. So should the need arise to do that, which we can't say for certain, we actually have some experience doing that in the past. And that would cover the bands, the orchestra. Many of our ensembles follow that same calendar where the repertoire is posted mid-July on our website, and the auditions take place about the week before school. I have a quick question here that I'd actually like to ask our students, and this actually comes from our new professor, Professor Mathai. He sent a message to me privately. He wanted to know what were your reasons, your final reasons for choosing Cal State Fullerton. So if we could briefly hear from Anthony, Ben, and Simon about that.
Yeah, the biggest selling point for me was my applied faculty member or instructor, Jean Ferrandis. He taught in Paris and he does master classes all over the world. And a few of my private instructors in high school studied with him back when he was in Paris. And when I found out he was teaching here, I knew I had to come here. So I came all the way from Las Vegas. just to study with Jean, and I found that this school was the best option for me, not only because of Jean, but just the environment that we live in here at Cal State Fullerton. The students, the faculty, the staff, it's just an amazing experience. And, I'm glad I chose it.
Thank you, Anthony. Ben, can we hear from you?
I think the deciding factor for me was definitely the faculty. Yeah, I think after having my lesson with Professor Ko, like for me, I definitely had a lot of problems with me playing and with my technique, and she really saw that I had was having difficulty with that, and she took interest in me and was very reassuring that I was going to improve and definitely be the best I can be when studying under her.
Thank you. And Simon?
I think the largest determining factor for me was just the merit of our education program. I came here from RCC, and a lot of the faculty members there were Fullerton grads, and those professors that I was studying under, I was just really inspired with the way they handled class and the way they handle ensembles, and I knew I wanted to be an instructor like them. I wanted to follow in their footsteps. Also, on a more financial aspect, the investment, the cost of a degree from Cal State Fullerton compared to other schools in the area and even nationally, compared to the value of the education that you get, I mean, there's no competition. Just the dollar value for what you get out of the school is absolutely incredible, especially as somebody going into music education.
Yeah, even as an out-of-state student, the out-of-state tuition here is way cheaper than anywhere else in the country. So I'm glad.
Yeah. Cool.
I just wanted to give a couple of follow-ups to some of the questions. So number one, regarding auditions. So as we do with the wind ensemble and all the bands, the orchestra has a similar setup. So we do many of these virtually online as well, and that happens, we put them out about the middle of July, some of the procedures for auditions, and then those happen about the week before classes actually start. And again, it's open to all students, strings, woodwinds, brass, and percussion, and then follow up on the keys practice room. So for percussionists and pianists, you have separate keys for different areas for practice. So the pianists have specified rooms where they have those instruments that are suitable for them to practice on, and the percussionists have keys for the percussion areas, which are in a different place in the building as well.
Okay, Dr. Powers, there was a question that I think you were going to answer. Can we turn it back to you?
Yeah, sorry about that. I missed that one. Okay, we had a question about our lessons for respective instruments required for music majors, and can you take lessons outside of your instrument? So yes, lessons, every music major declares their primary instrument, and on that instrument, they'll have private lessons every week, one-on-one with the applied instructor until they finish the degree, or obviously till they play the recital if they're music ed student, or both the recitals, music performance student. So that's the primary declared instrument. Now, can a student take lessons outside of the instrument? In certain special cases, yes. Generally, the answer is no. And I think for us to discuss that further, it might be great if you sent me an email and we could look at that situation, what the instruments are, why you would want to do that, et cetera, et cetera. So, and by the way, for everyone, my email is kpowers@fullerton.edu. So my first initial K, and then my last name, Powers, no punctuation, just kpowers@fullerton.edu.
Okay, and we have a question that is a good follow-up to that. How much do lessons cost? Nothing. They're free. They're included with the cost of your tuition. So you are entitled to lessons on your instrument as part of the package of coming to Cal State Fullerton. Now, Dr. Powers was answering the question of, could you potentially take lessons beyond your own instrument? And in some certain cases, we do allow that and also cover the cost. But if that is not possible, but you're still interested in studying more, there is something called extended education that would allow you to do so at a small fee. And even though there would be a fee to take additional lessons, again, your lessons on your instrument are free, but additional lessons beyond that could be taken at a small cost. But that cost is still probably smaller than it would cost you to go find a professional in the arena and study privately with them outside of the institution. So. Here's another question. Does Fullerton have instruments for rent or loan? Yes, we do, especially large instruments or instruments that often students don't own themselves. There is a modest fee for checking out an instrument. I can't remember exactly what it is. Maybe one of my colleagues knows.
I think it's $25. You have to pay the same fee when you take methods courses as an ed major.
Okay, so there we go. Very modest fee for checking out our instruments that we have available.
I want to say something about that too. In the string area, we have several artist level instruments. There are 4 violins that go out on loan, and we usually look at who the people are in the area and what their needs are, and also what their level is, and then we loan them out depending on that. And it is $25 for each of the semesters that you have the instrument on loan.
So it doesn't look like we have any other questions here. If you have a few more, keep them coming, but we are running to the end of this session. And I did want to highlight, we played a few videos for you, or rather we provided links for you to check out some videos. I did want to let all of you know that you please go onto Facebook or Instagram or any social media platform and find the Cal State Fullerton School of Music and follow them. There's a lot of footage that we post there. We have our own YouTube page where you can see additional performances of many of our ensembles. So please go check those out. Let's see, question, could you potentially rent a marimba or large percussion instruments? You can't rent them, but we do have them available for you to practice. Percussionists have actually 3 practice rooms dedicated to them. So we've got you covered in the percussion area. We have a unique opportunity here, I think, where we've heard from some of our students about what drew them to Cal State Fullerton. But when we have a new faculty member that we've hired, obviously we do a search for that faculty member, but they are also interviewing us. So if I could ask Professor Mathai to speak, why are you interested in joining us at Cal State Fullerton? What drew you to our institution?
Thank you. Thank you for this question. And it was when if you ever apply for a college teaching position, if you make it to the finals, you'll be invited to the campus. And immediately when I visited Fullerton, I sensed that there was something very unique and different about the School of Music in particular. And leading up to it, the contact that I had with, the director and the different faculty, I noticed that there was something genuine about the way they communicated and the way that they interacted with each other. But then the kicker was that when I met the students, I immediately knew that it was all for real, that the students felt challenged, but they also felt that they were in a safe space, that they could work their hardest and be given the opportunities and the resources and the technology that they need to be trained to become successful musicians in the 21st century. You could see it in their eyes, you could see it from their questions, you could see it from just the atmosphere that's at the School of Music. When you walk through the hallways and you see the students' faces and the people that are going to become your lifelong colleagues and friends, it's a genuine environment. It's a genuinely sincere environment. And for me, yeah, you need to have a high standard of music making. You need to have a high standard of resources and facilities, but none of that is really any good unless you have the people, the village that really puts it all together. And that includes the administration from the top down. That includes the people that are teaching you lessons, teaching you the theoretical aspects, the historical aspects of what you're doing. And when you put that all together and you get, you know, all the stars of a line, then you really get a complete package in your music education. And for me, I would love to be a part of that team, and fortunately it worked out.
Well, thank you, Professor Mathai, and we're honored to have you joining us in the fall.
Thank you.
So everybody, we are just about out of time, and you've had some of your questions answered. Undoubtedly, you have more. You can find all of our email addresses on the School of Music website, so I encourage you, if you have a question that wasn't answered here, please follow up with us. But for now, we do have to say goodbye as we transition to another session for our choral vocal area within the School of Music. So to all of you who attended, thank you so much for joining. We do hope to see you in the hallways come the fall. So thank you, it's been a pleasure.